Shema Israel, Adonai Elohim, Adonai Echad. Toda Abba, Toda, Toda Abba, Toda, Toda Abba, Toda, Toda Abba, Toda, Toda Abba Adonai, Toda Abba Adonai, Toda Abba Adonai, Toda Abba, Toda Abba, Toda Abba, Toda Abba, Toda Abba, Toda Abba, Adonai. Heavenu Shalom Aleichem. Heavenu Shalom Aleichem. Heavenu Shalom Aleichem. Heavenu Shalom Aleichem. Amen. Welcome to this spontaneous meditation and an evening prayer. Since we are close to the solstice and the longest day here in Central Europe, in Bavaria, Germany, even at this rather evening hour, sky being cloudy, it's still daylight. The sun is still up and kicking behind all those clouds. You can tell that the weather is more fierce than you would expect for June, July. So it's not much of a summer. It's much more of still a spring weather with lots of changes of weather. And you can tell that there must be quite some wind, because back there you can see the wheel is turning, and that is the fan. And as a German comedian puts it, those wind fans are called wind fans because notice that there's only wind when they turn. So evidently they bring the wind. That is a fun take on a misconception of what is first and what comes from it. You know how sometimes we may get angry and point finger at someone else and say, it's their fault I'm angry. And it makes sense because the other person did something horribly wrong, and that is clearly their fault, so of course I'm angry, right? And that is the same as thinking that the wheel, because the wheel is spinning, there is wind. We know, of course, that when there is no wind, the wheel is not spinning. The wheel, the fan, the electric turbine actually reacts to the wind. So the turbine turning, or the fan turning, the windmill turning, is because there is wind. The cause is the wind, the effect is the turning of the fan. Whereas in your home, of course, you turn on the fan and it creates wind. Equally, we sometimes mistake cause and effect. The wind is the cause, the effect is the turning. And we say, When I feel anger within me, that is the effect, for the cause is outside. That is a very common misconception. Anger is an action, not a reaction. Anger is our own action to an outside stimuli that causes something in us, and we switch to anger, but we don't get that. We could switch to peace just the same. We could switch to love just the same. We could switch to happiness just the same. Somebody else's actions does not imperatively cause the equal reaction in us. We are in power and in charge of our emotions. But we're not taught how to do that. And SMileSM.art Life Coaching from the Heart does exactly that. It teaches you how to use your emotions favorably for yourself and everybody around you, in accordance with the laws of the universe and in obedience to the will of God. Anger lives in the bosoms of fools, so anger is in the hearts of the fools. Anger resides in a foolish heart or mind. Anger is not the right answer, and it is not a reaction. Anger is an inappropriate action to an outside stimuli. The cause is not the other person. The cause is within. When we look within our heart and we are at peace, it is peace we will find. In order to find peace within, we need to cultivate peace within. In order to harvest peace, we need to plant peace. If we allow anger to be planted within, we are going to harvest massive amounts of anger. Even if we just put a tiny little seed into the ground. Look, this tree, as enormous as it is, has been once a tiny seed, and now it's a big tall tree. If you put a seed of anger into your heart and cultivate it and fertilize it and use it and multiply it, you will be surrounded by many feelings of anger, dissonance, distrust, frustration, bitterness, and other very, very difficult feelings that isolate you and desolate you. Because you have not only planted, but cultivated, fertilized, utilized, and multiplied anger. Once anger has been learned, it is difficult to unlearn at first, and sometimes impossible to undo. But the good news is that instead of trying to fight a lost battle, of trying to undo what is done, SMileSM.art teaches you how to do something different altogether. It focuses you on the source of the wind, and teaches you not to focus just on the fan and then accusing the fan for creating the wind. Those massive wheels had to be erected, those windmills. And they had to be constructed and built as to react to the wind. Without them being put there would have been no reaction of them, but wind would still happen. The outside stimuli of people behaving in ways that we may agree or disagree with, that may come as a surprise, even as a shock, things that may horrify us, things that may appall us, will always happen. Life will not change just because we don't like it, but we have the power to learn to perceive the world differently and to react to it differently, according to the master plan by which we have been built. Because you see, the blueprint is within us, because we come from the same source. All of us come from the same source. The blueprint of incommonness is within us. Uncover how we can reconnect and connect fully, entirely, wholeheartedly to that source, and how to utilize it to the favor of ourselves as well as our surroundings, as well as the universe, as well as the Lord. That is one of the major benefits you get from SMileSM.art Life Coaching from the heart. So you do not mistake the effect for the cause and the cause for the effect. And so that you can enjoy the joke without taking it seriously, while at the same time feeling the deep connection to every tree and bush and flower, and feel the harmony in the orchestra of life. Looking at the director, looking at the director, is it director or director? Looking at the director, the conductor, looking at the orchestra, looking at the audience, the theater, and the sun and stars and moon and clouds above, and feeling just this deep, connective love. Toda Abba, Adonai, Toda Abba, Adonai, Toda Abba, Adonai, Toda Abba, Toda Abba, Toda Abba, Toda Abba, Toda Abba, Adonai. Amen. Have a blessed Sunday rest, Shabbat Shalom, and have a blessed day, no matter what day this message finds you. God bless you.